Alright, today we're going to be maintaining our James Way automated scraper, and the first thing I have to do is get some of the manure cleaned up from around it. So one thing we wish we would have done when we installed this automatic scraper was put the drive wheels outside of the barn, because they're really hard to work around in that small space, and it doesn't completely push out the alleys. You'll see in a second here I have to manually push ahead all this manure I just cleaned out because the scraper won't come back past the corner wheel. I'm done cleaning up around the drive wheels, so now I'm gonna snap you guys in and we're gonna go grease all the fittings. I grease the fittings twice a week. I'll give each fitting a few pumps. You don't want to overfill them because you'll blow out the seals and then dirt will get in and wreck your bearings. One thing we really like about having automatic scrapers is it's so much cleaner. The floor is always free of manure. Back when we used to scrape twice a day, you would have, by the time you got to night chores, you would have quite a pile of manure that the cows have been standing in all day. And now their feet are clean and dry. I'm now at the far end of the barn where the automatic scrapers push the manure off into the pit. I'm going to go out on this catwalk here, and I've got 4 corner wheels that I need to grease while I'm out here. You can see these hutches here we built around the corner wheels. They have a heat lamp inside, and that way when it gets down into the freezing temps in the winter, our corner wheels won't freeze up. See, our pit is open to the weather, so any precipitation we get does end up in the pit. This is both a good and bad thing because you need the water to help stir up the solids to be able to pump, but at the same time it makes for more loads out to the field. And here's a view from inside of the hutch. You can see the heat lamps on. I'm headed down the catwalk to do the last corner wheel. You can see in the background there's the white with the pump hooked up. We've got multiple spots along the pit where we have sumps that the pump can go into, and that just helps for all the manure to be able to work its way towards the pump a lot easier. Done greasing all the fittings, and now we're going to tension up the chains on both of the automated scrapers. Saw me kicking that chain there. I'm just checking the tension on it, and I have to keep bumping it on to see how much slack there is. So I'll show you guys what it should look like when you're done tensioning the chain. That's about right there. You want to have a little flex in the chain, and you want to have it tight enough, just tight enough to move that idler wheel. You don't want it too tight or you'll start taking out bushings and bearings. Here's a shot of the automated scraper in action. Here's the chain coming up and over the drive wheel. Look over the gate here and you can see that back alley headed towards the pit. Take a quick glance at the computer that runs all this. It'll let you stop it, put it on auto, which is what it normally runs in, or continuous, which I will use in the winter when things start freezing up. I'll run it at continuous on 40% speed instead of like 80% speed, and that way it can continuously run while still moving the same amount of manure without the worry of it freezing. I just started the scraper in alley 2, so I can show you guys how these scrapers work. And you can see right here, this scraper is headed towards the pit, so the blades are flipped down and the wings are out. One thing we didn't like when these scrapers came was that they came with steel blades, and steel and sand don't mix. Those blades are gone in a matter of months. We've since attached poly blades, and those are holding up really well, and they do a nice job of squeegeeing that manure, keeping the alleys really clean. It's not pushing very much yet, but by the time it gets to the end of the barn, there'll be quite a pile in front of it. I like to do it frequently so that there's not a lot of manure and the cow's feet stay nice and dry up on the concrete away from the manure. See, most of the cows are laying down right now. They were milked probably close to 3 hours ago now. They all came up, got their feed, and now they're laying down and making milk. We're just gonna walk back through these cows to get to the end of the barn. That way you guys can see where the manure gets dumped off into the pit. You can see they're all pretty comfy. Got lots of sand in their stalls. Plenty of room to lunge when they need to get up. Just having these alleys clean really keeps the cows clean. I mean, you don't see any manure on them. You've got manure in the alleys, they're constantly kicking it and whipping it up with their tails, and it just makes a mess. Alright, here's the back alley. So the front alley is pushing manure towards the pit, and the back alley is coming back. You can see the blades are flipped up so that it's not dragging manure back towards the other end of the barn. You can hear that sand just grinding away on the underbelly of that scraper. We've had to weld multiple steel plates underneath the main beam of it. Here we're at the end of the barn. This is where it'll push the manure off into the pit, and then from the pit we can agitate it, stir it, pump it into our tanker, and inject it into our fields as fertilizer. Alright, and that's an overview of our James Way automated scrapers. Overall, we like them. They're great when they work. They do have their problems just like everything else, but we're doing the best we can with them, and we're always open to new ideas and better ways of doing things. So we just try to keep improving what we have. I hope you guys enjoyed the footage, and we'll catch you on the next one.